Influx, we make motion capture clothes. And I've got a full presentation actually after this panel, so you'll see everything we have to say about the company. But basically, motion capture technology has been used to create video games and movies for years. It's really expensive and really hard to use. But we have created Under Armour-like or Lululemon-like clothes that have tiny built-in motion sensors that give everyone the power of motion capture. So right now, data being collected from my body, sent on Bluetooth right to that device. And this is our sixth panelist today, Virtual Me. And that face actually is a 3D scan of my face in there. I have a lot more to say about bodies, but that was my quick 1-minute intro.
I'm Nick Ochoa, and I got into VR in 2014. I founded Upload VR, which some of you might have stumbled upon if you were looking up anything about VR or AR. And I went around the world this year with Kaleidoscope VR, which is another amazing company that's pushing forward around storytelling. And had a chance to go to 10 cities in 9 countries in 6 weeks, throwing big VR events about the size of this one in each of those cities, and learned a ton and saw the way people were interacting with this technology from the beginning, DK1 days, up until the Vive, and kind of seeing that evolution, having that first-hand perspective coming out of the demo. I get to hear all those people's first thoughts, and it's a really interesting place to be. And despite the fact that I have no PhD, I have no engineering background, I'm not a developer. I actually dropped out of school, just a little state school, and moved to San Francisco just looking at technology as an opportunity. And when VR came into my life, it kind of transformed, I think, who I am completely. And a lot of that has to do with the sort of glimmers of the future that I had relating to a lot of what social stuff can do for us, education, art, and story. But that's a little bit about me. I won't be able to speak to any technicalities behind the social, but I am a human, and I do live every day with other humans, so I think I'm pretty social, and I have an idea of how humans want to interact, and having that first-hand perspective at Upload and Kaleidoscope and now many of them imagine, I think should be at least a little bit helpful. Yes.
So, can everyone hear me? Yeah? Okay. So, I'm Zane Nair. I'm a co-founder for Warrior Studios. We're making an elemental VR-based game that's more focused on just the user experience and the spectatorship. So, in our game, we have like gesture-based controls. We want people to move their arms around, do techniques and stuff like that to make them really engage in the game rather than just kind of pressing buttons or whatever. And then from the outside perspective, well, we want to work on esports. So like spectatorship, people who might not have headsets because it's kind of expensive. So come and watch the game, make it easy to understand game. Like everyone will know what's going on when let's say some guy summons a wall and a fireball hits it and everything like that. To make it more accessible to the general population, and make a game that's easy to understand, right, and get inside.
So hey guys, my name is Sammy. I was just giving the talk right before this, so some of you might have already met me. But the short version is that I'm a product manager and program manager at Weaver. So we're a VR production studio and distribution platform providers. And what that means is that we produce in-house very high-end, very high-quality VR productions across the whole spectrum of like CG, live, riffs, and PSVR soon, and 360 videos, mono, stereo, Gear VR, video coming up soon, and so on. We also have co-productions with artists and like super awesome people working doing VR stuff, including Kaleidoscope folks, also worked with us before. And we also curate content, VR content from other production houses. So it's kind of similar to a Netflix model. We have in-house VR productions, and we curate very select content. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys probably heard most of the boring stuff before. But specifically when it comes to like anything that we do, internally at Weaver, it's always about people first being immersed in the environments, and it's about how interactions and like how shaping the story is just centered about how people are interacting with it. And knowledge is just a tool. The more we get people into VR, the more VR becomes part of us. Hopefully, talk about some stuff.
Yeah, I think I think I have a few questions that we should get on. So the first question is, why do you think VR is, what's so special about VR that didn't exist before, and why is it a better or a different medium for communication?
Sure. I'll jump in there. So right now, the way people communicate is, first it was through telephones, then it was through these flat screens. But when you're communicating with somebody through a flat screen in, say, video chat, you're very much in separate environments, and you have this little window to see somebody on the other side of the environment. In VR now, you can kind of teleport in, and actually, one of Paul Verlucky's messages, like when he was launching Oculus, was step into the game. And VR really lets you do that. It lets two people on different sides of the world actually share the same environment for the first time.
Yeah, totally. I will say that, I totally agree, and I would say that specifically VR adds so much more to the experience than video conferencing or anything else, because you can Skype with someone across the world, you can exchange emails and so on. But it's so different than just being immersed in an environment with them. And it's not about of course it's amazing if you have all the tracking about the body and everything else, but I think it's much more about each person individually feeling present at that moment at the same time. And recognizing something about the other person, whether it's just if you guys look super awesome, about just feeling that there's a human being there in real time interacting with you. Or if it's something very high end, like real time 3D scanning and the actual meshes and so on, but it doesn't have to be super realistic in terms of somewhere on the uncanny valley. It just has to be convincing and compelling enough that you have a sense of disbelief that I am there with this person and we're doing stuff together. It's so much more visceral than anything else before it. And I think it will really redefine the way we feel as present with someone else across any kind of sector that relates to social VR communication. It's so different than anything else before it. And the curse of VR, I think that there is really no way to describe it well unless you actually just try it. So you just have to try something like social VR, let's say Toybox or high fidelity sensor, alpha, anything we just showed now, to just understand how important it is to have this feeling of I'm there with someone and we are one. it's crazy. It's just so different.
Yeah, so immersion is really important, and that's what VR really offers. For esports in particular, a lot of games these days, when you watch esports, kind of like people behind the screen. Even when you go to an event there, it's people kind of behind the booths and stuff. It's not that interactive. It's almost like watching the game. We want to have more of a sports feel. It allows us to have this a real wrestling fight or something like that, which is really nice. And then for the people inside the game, everyone always wanted to be the avatar. Everyone wanted to be a magician. Playing a video game, you're kind of just pressing buttons. It's nice and all, but it really puts you into that environment. Gives you those powers.
Yeah, I think that the question, what makes VR or immersive medium so special, is it's like asking what is consciousness, right? There's no answer to why it's special. It's much bigger than any one specific reason why VR is special. But I think for me, if I'm gonna boil it down, because I don't want to also get on my path down my talk that I'll be giving at 4. But I could also talk about this for, I feel like, an endless amount of time. But it's a more human medium, and just as humans evolve for survival, technology evolves to become more human. And we're at this point where the intersection is beginning to actually come into passing, and we're just at the brink of it. But the fact that we're finally stepping into technology and immersing our minds within it, as opposed to just using it as an extension of our minds, is a giant shift that I think has massive, massive implications across so many different verticals and so many different aspects of life. But it is, for me, powerful mediums that I've ever seen. My imagination can only imagine what will come out of it, but I don't really even understand what the next sort of medium for knowledge work, for sense making is going to be. Maybe it's more tactile, I don't know, but it's the most human medium that we've ever encountered, and I think that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. I think one sort of a follow-up question here, maybe it's out to you is, what are the technical challenges as a community? What should we be solving so that it gets you that level of presence and that level of communication and that level of engagement? What's missing right now? What should we be focusing on? And how do we actually get users excited about trying this thing? Okay, this is a bulky piece of equipment, it's expensive. So if you don't get users, even if users want to get it, is the technology ready? And what, in your mind, are the challenges that we should be looking at?
Yeah, I'll be brief because again, I'm not the technical guy here at all, but I do know that there are a few issues that people are facing around, specifically one that I think is incredibly important is audio and the difficulties with getting a room like this with 40, 50 people inside of it and starting to talk as I am and you guys ask questions. How do we handle that audio? Sound works so differently in the world, and we all are sensory beings, but our senses are reading the information that is provided to us much differently. I see a different red than you see. You hear a different sound than I hear. But I do know audio is a really tricky problem, along with thousands of others. But I think that the piece of advice I would give to people if they're trying to build social experiences is not to think of social as Facebook or think of social as Instagram. I actually think those are incredibly unsocial platforms and tools. I think that they are a new form of communication, but they're not a human or humane form of communication. They're this artificial manufacturing of feeling like I am connecting with somebody, feeling like I have friends paying attention to me because I have a little red bubble coming up, but it kind of just ignore what you consider social on the internet and think about what you do in the real world and what you want to do with friends and things that you can't do in the real world that you dream about. Those are the types of things that you can do in VR. So don't sell yourself short and try to reinvent the wheel. Actually break through into something different and start letting your imagination take you to the limits and test and play, because nobody's figured anything out that's stuck. There's no secret formula, and just because you are a student doesn't mean that you can't push forward with that in the future. So that's the one big piece of advice I would give when it comes to social is don't look at social as what you know as social on the internet today, because it's gonna suck if you do.
I guess the problem with VR for us is that not many people actually have VR headsets. It's really expensive. It's new technology. People might not want to get in. You need to have sometimes you need to have a really expensive computer, whatever. So I guess some of the stuff we're trying to solve is how to allow people without headsets to kind of enjoy what's going on, like watching someone else in VR, just watching them. It should be a fun experience. It should give you hype as well. And
Yeah, I would say there's like 3 areas where specifically social VR needs to kind of solve or get better at, for it to be really enjoyable experience for everyone. It's kind of compelling experience enough for you to have social interactions in the real world migrate to VR. Why would you go in VR and do that in front of someone else? Like why? How do you think about VR first? I would say first one related to how much you feel present in VR and the whole thing about going VR in general. Second thing is about what are we doing as a social being in VR? You and I can be in a room, but what's around us? How is this even relevant to what we're doing? And it goes about productivity and anything else we talk about. And third one is about how do you, and I talked a bit about this before, about an hour ago, but like, how do you tie in the real world to this parallel metaverse? And where do you have to be careful about like transgressions and how this kind of relates to what you're doing, whether it's something that's empowering and augmenting you or something that you have to be careful of. So for the first area, I think just very briefly, like, I think that improves VR in general in sense of presence, whether it's just like, obviously like, on better graphics, like the tracking, positional tracking, like untethering, everything else around like, having like pixel density that you can do with rendering and so on. Anything on the technical side that can improve VR and immersion and make it much more accessible and like decrease the price, have it like a mobile job inside our tracking, everything like that improves VR in general, and by transition, improves social VR. And second thing I think which is more important is that why are you even having social in VR? Like what's the point of going to an avatar, sitting in this room, having this kind of virtual art space instead of having it in real life? And this goes to a lot of things that like Zuckerberg has mentioned like, this week, for example, and other people have mentioned, either Intel or Allen and so on. This whole concept of like merged reality or augmented VR, we call it, or whatever. It's just about more than mixed reality, but like merging aspects from the physical world to the virtual world and context in a meaningful way. So if we are both collaborating on like, this kind of architecture piece and like doing some kind of communication socially, we want to have something like a physical prototype coming in and interact with it with haptics and so on, tactile feedback, and maybe like some kind of mixed reality that's very compelling and so on. It could be like both of us are teleporting to sit on the beach because of how important this discussion is, and you can have like the environment change accordingly. You should look at this family selfie that they showed in the demo, for example, where you can be virtual, the dog is physical, you can be on a 2D screen overlay that, and so on. So just this merging. And to solve that, there's anything that has to do with the whole mixed reality challenges. So like there's like real world 3D scanning, and like setup tracking will help a lot. All the communication protocols and like reduce latency to a minimum and allowing for massive multiplayer setup. Anything high fidelity and sensor are working on is super important. I think the third one, just very briefly, is the thing that people think about as an afterthought usually, which is the whole societal aspect of the social VR. So whether it's like the ethics of conduct and like how do you define privacy zones and like the sanctity of your avatar. So if you're in social VR and like you get someone attack you and like, beat you up, right? Like the whole point of being is you want to be immersed and be one with this word and this visceral experience. And how does this affect you? And how do you design, engineering-wise, how do you design this privacy zone, this bubble, without ruining the immersion? Because the whole point is how you become one with the environment. And vice versa, like how do you bring things that are important to you in your personal life to the cultural world, and how can you bring them back? We have the meta, I don't know if we talked about this when we talked today, as a nice demo where if we're teleconferencing through augmented reality, you can pass me an object virtually, and that I can pick up this object and bring it to my part of the teleconferencing experience. So this kind of merging of objects besides just the social aspect is super important for social as a whole in VR. So I think that depending on what use case it is, there's a lot of challenges that are being worked on, but they're getting much better hopefully soon to be a whole different level of social VR.
That's good. No, these are great answers. I'm just going to echo a few of the points here. How many of the audience, how many of you guys know what a network effect is? Okay, so network effects are really important for technology adoption, and I think one of the biggest things holding VR back is not that many people have it. So right now, if I want to communicate with somebody, I'm going to use this. It's a simple thing I can just pull out of my pocket, and everybody has these, and I can send a message or an email or a video to anybody, any one of my friends anywhere in the world in an instant. And VR is a communication platform. So this is a VR conference in the hub of technology in the entire world. How many of you at home own either an HTC Vive or an Oculus or a high-end VR headset? Wow. So yeah, I can communicate with 3 or 4 people in this room. And I run a VR company, and so that's what we're up against here. And it's up. I mean, this is not like creating a social network on the internet. Like when Zuckerberg created Facebook, everybody had computers. It was something everybody could access right away. With VR, we're actually creating a new internet here, and this stuff takes a while. So, one of the things Mark Zuckerberg said at OC3 the other day was it's a lot easier to predict where the world's